Okay, so here I'm drawing on some purple cardstock paper, and I used a Pigma Micron. Now, what I was going for was sort of a robot, and well, it started out as a spaceship, slowly moved into putting legs and adding different, almost tentacles, kind of. I should have made a octopus rocket, a squid rocket that can walk, a speeder, a walker. I don't know. There's a lot of things that I could have done, but it turned into a mech robot sort of. And so I had fun with this, branched off, added some detail. It's not as detailed as I could have made it. I could have put a little bit more time, a little bit more attention into it, but I decided that when the drawing was done, it's done. If the drawing is finished, then it's finished. And then I move on to the next drawing, and it's not really a failure because you can always just move on and restart. That's the thing. That's why I like drawing. That's why I started drawing, is because you can mess up as much as you want, and at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because you can always just flip the next page and then progress again. Because in other things, it might be a little bit more difficult in other hobbies and activities to start over and keep starting over. But with the drawing, yeah, sure, you maybe lost a little time, but not really. You didn't really lose that much time if you're learning from your drawings. I mean, you might not notice it in the day when you're drawing for maybe 30 minutes or an hour, but even if it feels like you've messed up, there's really no such thing as messing up, I think, because over a 10-year period, the failures, the successes, they all add up, and when you combine them together, you kind of need the failures, because without that, you're not going to succeed. I mean, if you just succeed and then all of a sudden one day you fail, you're going to feel like quitting. So if you fail a lot, you get used to it, and then when you do succeed, it's a lot more fun, it's a lot more exciting. So that's kind of my mindset towards drawing and failing and succeeding, or whatever, you know. So I started out with box shapes for this doodle abstract. It's not abstract, actually. I mean, I come up with the lines, the dots, as I go along. I didn't sketch out before this. I want to have an image in my head and then just put it down on the paper. I don't want to overthink it. So I made some rectangles, moved on towards adding the bigger shapes, and a little bit of, I like making these oval sort of rectangle shapes with the edges being curved, kind of. It's kind of blobby. It's like a blobby effect, if that's a thing. And I also used some wire line shapes diagonally going in different directions, trying to make it look interesting, make the drawing pop off the page, basically. And the legs, I do have trouble with drawing legs, trying to make them look the same, as I think a lot of people probably do if you draw robots, but I don't draw legs that much. I've been just drawing spaceships, so need to work on that. So yeah, I'm having fun drawing, and I've also been using fountain pens and dip pens to sort of create these machines, these otherworldly devices or robots or whatever. But I have been. I don't know if I should use fine liners or dip pens to make these machines, because the dip pens, or actually no, more specifically the fountain pens that I use, the lines are thicker, it's smoother, it's a lot more satisfying to make these drawings, but it's not as detailed. But with the fine liner, it's a little gritty, a little rougher on the page, but I also do like the finer lines, so there's trade-offs that I have with both. This pen, the fine liners, good. I don't know. I have to find a perfect pen, and I haven't found it yet. Or maybe I'm just being a little bit too picky, and because I mean, I could just use a less fine liner. I could use a 01 Pigma Micron, but I don't have any. I just have very fine lines. I want to make thicker lines. What am I talking about? I don't know. I like using fountain pens. I like using any kind of pen is satisfying and fun for me. So that's why I use dip pens. I use fountain pens, technical pens. Anything I can get my hands on, I'm going to draw with it. Also, as you can see, I used some markers. I used a sort of, I'm not sure what the color is. It's a yellow. I wanted it to look cyberpunkish. I want it to look, neo-futurism, sort of almost dystopian. I want it to look futuristic, basically. And I think yellow, purple together, that's a good combination. Of course, there's a lot of other things I could do. I have a pretty good assortment of markers here, and some random ones, some old ones. I'm working with them, and so yeah, added a little color. That's all I had to say. Thanks for watching, and bye.